It's a sinister mystery that has confounded the governments of two countries and still haunts one of Europe's poorest ethnic minorities. Over a decade ago, more than 500 Albanian Roma children, street beggars rounded up by the police in neighboring Greece, disappeared from this state-run care home in Athens. Why were they there in the first place? And where did they go? Sarah MacDonald went to investigate.
Tirana, capital of Albania, now taking steps towards membership of the EU. 25 years after the end of communism left this nation on its knees, the city has rediscovered its confidence. There's more wealth here than there's been for many years, but not everyone is sharing it. Take a drive through the busy streets and you'll soon find people living on the edge of survival. The little girl is from Albania's Roma community, one of Central Europe's most deprived minorities. I find her mother nearby, and though she doesn't want her face to be seen, she's willing to explain what's going on.
Kam 3 fëmijë. E dalim lypim këto për çapën e bukrës. Përpara burrim punonte dhe nuk diçja. Mas 4 vjetëve gjys ai e pushullën nga puna. Punë s'gjeti më për rreth 6 muaj.
The girl isn't alone. There are other Roma beggars out on these streets, darting among the cars in search of handouts. Children, we are told, are more likely to get a response than adults. This is a European country, a member of NATO. But today in Albania in 2014, there are still women and children begging at the traffic lights. They earn less than €1 a day. It's a disturbing but appropriate start to our journey, because this is a story about Albanian Roma and poverty and a remarkable 15-year mystery that speaks volumes about their plight, both then and now. It involves 500 of the country's Roma children who went missing from a foreign orphanage without anyone seeming to care about their fate. We're on our way south to find out more. Our first stop is Pogradec, not far from the border with Greece. It's home to many Roma, and as in the capital, they're in desperate straits. On one street corner, we came across Elvira Sinanlari, begging with her children. Azia Sinanlari is just 4 years old. What do you do during the day? And do people give you money? And what do you do with the money? Elvira has been begging on the streets for 20 years. She led us up into the hills above town, where she lives in one room of a disused army barrack with 10 of her 11 children. Just imagine this in the winter. The snow comes in through the windows and the open door. There are no windows. And there are wires hanging from the ceiling.
Këtu flem neve me të dy gocat. Këtu ma ta flea I mavi. Kjo pikon, shtëfshi kot, nuk më shtven kemët krat. Se këtu neve s'na ndimon as njeri, kushka. Des këtu njeri kan zbathur gjam, I kan pa shapka pa qizma. There's one child who no longer sleeps here, Elvira's son Armando. She told us 15 years ago he went to Greece as a 6-year-old and never came back. One of many who travelled in hope that things would get better. Under its Soviet-era dictator, Enver Hoxha, Albania was a repressive totalitarian state.
But communism's collapse in 1992 offered the chance of escape to Western Europe. Hundreds of thousands seized the opportunity, many Roma among them. But over the years that followed, this exodus had its dark side. A few miles from Elvira's home is Korça, the border town that became a focus of the Roma's attempts to leave the country. In the Roma community, the poverty is palpable. In the houses that we've been inside, we've found up to 10 people living in one small room. And it's that extreme poverty that has led many over the years to make the dangerous journey across the mountains into Greece. But among them were many children, a few going willingly, others taken forcibly by relatives or traffickers to be used as begging bait on the streets of Albania's wealthy neighbour. In Korça, we tracked down one of the few who came back. Klaida Gura is now 24 and has 3 children of her own. When she was 6, her father sent her to Greece. Did you know the person that took you to Greece?
Jo, më përpara nuk e njihja, po kur më prezantovi babai, që e kemi kushuri, e kemi tonin edhe që më dërguan në Greqi, po mama ime nuk ishte dakord.
Why did your father send you to Greece?
Për të punuar, se s'kishim. Ishim shumë të varfër. S'kishim tani në bukë. Edhe më shpunë, që punonja, me djalin e të vllajt të këtij që më mori mua, dilnim, punonim të dy. Edhe lekët, pastaj ja jepja kësaj zonjës që më mbante.
Klaida says she wasn't alone, nor was she the youngest, but all of them were put to work.
Me sa mbaj mentu nuk i merte shumë fëmijë, me thënë që i bënte siç më bëri mua, me thënë si të tjerët. Ishte një kishë shumë e madhe me shkallë përdhese kështu, aty më nxinin qelypja dhe pastaj plus në për ato buzë me thënë që djalë ka i këtij binte fizharmonikës, ndërsa unë mblidhja lekët me gotë. Po më shumë dilja lypja.
Klaida has given us a number for another Roma in Korça, a young man called Alban.
Alban, hi, it's Sarah.
He was trafficked as a child and knows others who were too.
See you today. We're in Korça right now.
Edhe I tha mamas që ti marrë ndihmë, ti mbaj me të mira, të punojnë për veten e tyre, të sjellin leka, se e pa ajo që ishim fukarenj edhe deshte të na merrte në Greqi.
And were you actually working for someone?
Punoja për dikë, po e pash që nuk shkonja mirë aty, edhe ika, nuk më rrieshe më në atë shtëpi. Shikonja shumë gjërat pa pëlqyera dhe ika, s'më rrieshe më, edhe u friksova.
A disturbing pattern has begun to emerge. Later, we met one of Alban's friends who was snatched by traffickers in the street. We find him tending pigs on the outskirts of town.
Hey, how are you? It's lovely to see you. Thank you. See you looking after the pigs.
Më morën më gënjyen, domethënë me një martë, po ishim domethënë 12-13 vjeç fëmijë. Isha duke lojtur si gjithë fëmijët e tjerë. Erdhi një fugon blu, si blu ishte e errët kështu. Erdhi një fugon aty, hapëm derën ata, më thartë ma hajde këtu, hajde këtu. Edhe unë vajt ata që se fëmijë. E mora, unë ai vlla më mori mua kështu, hajde me lalin, po më fërkonte kështu, kur e pash veten unë në shinat.
The experience left him physically and mentally scarred.
Gjatë rrugës syva dhe kemën këtu, domethënë që na ndoqi policia greke që luan në ajër. Dëshit na kapnin domethënë në mal, s'na kapën do se ikëm me vrap. Unë kalama, qanja, benja, fëmijë.
The more of these stories we've heard, the harder they are to comprehend. We came to Korça to find the origins of a mystery about 500 missing children. What we've found is a community that seems to have been helpless to protect its children, or, through extreme poverty and ignorance, happy to exploit them, with little or no notice being taken by the authorities at the time. Earlier in Tirana, we had raised this apparent indifference with Ariane Ruggi, a former director of the Albanian Border Migration and Police Agency.
The illegal trafficking organization has been very well organized. I can say that they were organized better than the state police, which protect the border. It was very easy to corrupt the police there in that time, or very easy to postpone the border police control and to cross the border 100 meters up or down of the border crossing point.
In some cases, Ruji told us, children were sold to traffickers, their families choosing to believe they'd be better off with strangers than at home.
They promised job, they promised school, they promised the better life conditions there, and the children, like the children, believe very soon and jump with a cousin or jump with a neighbor or some people which promise that.
Back in Pogradec, Elvira told us she had never dreamed of selling her child, no matter how bad things were. But she confessed that her mother had done so, selling Elvira's own son Armando to strangers.
Djali tim ma çovin e na im ata ma çovin maja im, edhe s'ma ngothyri me në Shqipëri. Që në mos 6 vjeç, s'ma ngothyri me mua. E dërgovi që të shkonte jetë, po këta e kishin gënjena në time, as nuk I njifte në na ime se kush ishte.
None of those we spoke to who had spent any time begging on the streets of Greece had good memories of the experience. Elton was just 12 years old when he was snatched by a trafficker who quickly put him to work.
Që një 28-29 vit, ishte I madh në moshë, nuk ishte domethënë kështu. I madh, edhe e dinte domethënë se ç'ishte jeta, gjësa më gënjevi mua dhe më mori deri ande, domethënë më mori për të punuar për atë unë, më kupton, më shfrytëzonte domethënë, sa shu I bie.
His handler's girlfriend taught him how to beg.
Si ti nxirr këto leka, ja bëj dorë kështu ja për të. Për zotin ja kështu. Bëj dorën ja bënte si jap unë leka. Ta jo ke nxirr pak, jo ke nuk I ke bërë aq sa të tham neve, më godisnin, më torturonin. Një ditë më shpun në banjë me rip. Imagjinoj tash ripin e hoqaj kështu, edhe ba ma bëri trupin këte. Ja më ka digur e kam dhe shenjë. Ma ty tash unë mos po sa bëjnë një gjë, ose do na vrasin, ose do na bëjnë, se tash I fëmijë qanja në fugon.
But the mystery at the heart of this story is what happened to 500 of those children when they fell into the hands of the Greek authorities. It's estimated that some 5,000 Albanian Roma children were taken over this border in the late 1990s, most of them to beg on the streets of Athens. And that's where our journey takes us next. In September 1997, Athens won the right to hold the 2004 Olympic Games, and the Greek authorities began to clean up the streets. Among those they targeted were the city's Roma child beggars. The intention was to round them up and put them into state care homes. But according to a leading human rights activist, it was always going to cause problems.
When you put them in those institutions, you have to realize that you are putting human beings, street children who have a different psychology, who have grown up much faster than the others, who need special assistance. It was a good idea, but it was never organized. Only with the idea we'll take them off the street, because in a couple of years we'll also have Olympic Games, and we make sure that we hide the problem.
Shikoja këshurin të ati që më mori mua që godistin një djalk. E godistin keq, bile më që e këshu, ajdut, vjetë e gjepash. Shumë leka I shpinte dhe prafës që I kërnaqër, aje e godiste. Unë ga jo tremba, thash, sa të vitër se mund do më bide mua këtë gjë, thash, edhe I ka. Nuk ndenja shumë. 2 javë ka ndenja me.
Alban was eventually picked up by the police and became one of 600 Roma taken to a state-run children's home called Agia Vivara.
Bajta në fillim, në vurën për të larë, në lavën, tëra, në dhanë roba. Me I treguan dhe dhoma që ja këtu do rini, këtu e kini rendin.
Me thënë, më kam ushqyer, më kam fritur, me thënë, një zakonisht mirë, me thënë, të veshësh roba të reja prej të parë një jetë, Dhe ngëzohesh.
Clyda had also been rounded up, and like Alban and the others, she enjoyed the care and attention. But soon word of their whereabouts got back to the traffickers. They started turning up at the centre, demanding the children back.
Shikonin dokumentacionet, dihun se ç'bjanin dhe I merrnin. Vinin shumë veta që merrnin fëmijë, nga donjëherë nuk ja u jepte, po që
Clyda's trafficker came to Agia Vivara pretending to be her mother.
Yri brenda në shkollë, edhe unë I thash po që kjo është mamaja, se siç më tha ajo thoya që unë jam mamaja, dhe unë thash, pastaj tha ajo tha ti gënjeta, kjo tha nuk është mamaja tënde, tha. Kjo tha ka erdhur ka marrë shumë fëmijë këtu, tha. Edhe ne tha kemi pranuar tha po këtë radh tha nuk pranojmë tha se.
If you were really happy there, why did you make the drastic decision to leap out of the window?
Po sepse më çfrydhi ajo, më tha që duhet të ikësh që këtu, tha, duhet të vish me patjetër në shtëpi, tha. Edhe unë me të nash fëmijë, u tremba dhe siç më tha bera.
Some of the children there were probably assistant traffickers in a way. Some of the older ones were promised that if they bring some of the youngers on out, in exchange they'll get something from the traffickers or their relatives, because in some cases it was a relative that was a trafficker too. It was very easy for them to jump a fence. The place was never closed for people not to run out, because they didn't have a room. They had only one guard, so it was very easy for them to leave the institution like that.
Things began to spiral out of control. The centre's hard-pressed staff had no idea whether the adults demanding their children back were genuine relatives. Many of the children had given false names, and few of them had any papers. We've obtained Agia Vivara's logbook, which shows employees were pleading for help from the authorities.
At 20:25, G and K escaped from the dining room window.
Don't forget to remind the director that the staircase's windows are totally unprotected.
Around 12 o'clock, the Albanian kids at the first floor got wild again. This cannot go on.
I shouldn't be on shift alone with kids like this. This is unacceptable.
They warned that adults were grabbing the children whenever they saw an opening.
2 men snatched the minor and boarded a passing taxi. We are informing you that a gypsy ethnic Albanian woman appeared and snatched G.M. She said she was his mother, but the kids said that she was a trafficker. This lady has been seen in the past snatching the children in this way.
The first reports that over 500 children had gone missing from a state-run children's home in Greece came in this document from the Swiss NGO Terre des Hommes in collaboration with the United Nations. And despite the gravity of the allegations that it contains, the Greek authorities initially did nothing. After a brief inconclusive investigation in 2004, the matter was shelved in Greece. But back in Tirana, the Albanian authorities, for so long indifferent to the fate of the Roma at home, awoke to the problem. It eventually came here to the Interior Ministry.
So it's clear for us now from the investigations that we have a list with 500 names, but clearly it's not 500 children. As far as we have double records in the same list, but also what comes from out of our investigations, we have the same children with double or triple identities in the same list. This makes the list shorter, but it doesn't make the problem smaller than it is.
This is the list the Greek authorities passed to their Albanian counterparts, but its accuracy is doubtful. None of those we've spoken to who were in Agia Vivara are actually on it.
The happenings have been in 1998, 2002, and this complicates the investigation. It complicates our capacity and Greek authorities' capacity to collect evidence, and complicates the possibilities of ours to trace down any potential evidence and location and what has happened with these children.
Yet some believe much more needs to be done. In 2012, Greek MP Maria Yannikaki challenged the government about its apathy.
Η ελληνική δημοκρατία έχασε 502 παιδιά. Αυτό καταρχήν πρέπει να το αναγνωρίσουμε και να δούμε από εκεί και πέρα τι θα κάνουμε. Η συζήτηση για το κατάλογο, πραγματικά άναυδη σας παρακολούθησα να κάνετε παζάρια για το πόσα παιδιά τελικά ήταν. Και ένα παιδί να ήταν, για μια δημοκρατία είναι θέμα. Νομίζω ότι θα συμφωνήσετε μαζί μου.
Οπότε θεώρησα ότι ότι οφείλουμε να μάθουμε τι έγιναν 502 ψυχές, οι οποίες είχαν την ατυχία να έχουν μια πλημελή επιτήρηση από το σπίτι τους και το ελληνικό κράτος, η ελληνική δημοκρατία, όφιλε να τους παράσχει την προστασία του. Και ανταυτού είχαν χαθεί 502 παιδιά.
We asked Greece's Justice Minister for an interview. He declined, but he did give us this statement.
I asked the judicial authorities to move up the file from the archive and to initiate a new investigation. The judge investigator has invited everyone involved or could have been involved to re-investigate the case. I hope that the new research will bring results so as to attribute blame, administrative or criminal, to anyone responsible.
As that new investigation continues, albeit many years after the event, back in Korça, the Roma community is still haunted by their children's disappearance. Its spokesman, Arbin Kosturi, runs a local Roma TV station.
Po kjo është një moskopçarje e të dy shteteve. Po në këtë qark që kemi ne, këtu ishin goxha fëmijë ku deri tash janë zbuluar vetëm 7-8 fëmijë.
Do you think the Greek authorities would have taken the missing children more seriously if they were Western, European and not Roma?
Po bëni për të qeshur. Sepse Shqipëria është një është një vend i varfër dhe Shqipërinë e kanë shfrytëzuar shumë shtete. Po t'ishte do një fëmijë nga, siç e përmendët, nga ndonjë shtet tjetër, do ishte gjendur dhe do ishte çuar drejtësia në vend.
But arguments about who was responsible for the fate of the missing Roma rage on. Greece, Albania, or the Roma themselves.
And those authorities high up who had the responsibility to send the children there or to prevent from them happening did not act. It's the whole system of the Greek society whose parts are a government and a justice that is responsible. We are all collectively guilty for those 500 missing children, full stop.
It hurts to feel that there are parents who criminally play with their children. It hurts how, as society, we have not developed safety mechanisms to safeguard children. So we can have irresponsible parents, but we cannot allow to have unsafe children. And that is where not only the authorities or police should come, but that is where society should come.
Elvira Sinanlari has now been asked by the authorities whether her missing son Armando might have been one of those who vanished from Agia Vivara.
Është në ato qendra, a u largua, se ku është nuk e di. Se edhe unë bëra veri për ato fëmijë, thej, ta shikoj njërë me sy, e të vdes, për ato fëmijë, të vi.
Ironically, as we were preparing to leave Albania, we came across a demonstration to raise awareness about the millions of children who go missing around the world every year. The fate of the 500 who vanished from a Greek children's home all those years ago is still unknown. But our journey has highlighted an important issue, that right at the heart of modern Europe, there's a minority so poor and disregarded it still feels obliged to send its children onto the streets to beg. That's surely something of which we should all feel ashamed.